of Mount Party, it's 8 o'clock.
Objective, informative, direct, up to the minute. GRACE95.5 FM News.
Hello and welcome to the news at 8 on Grace 95.5 FM Lokoja, Nigeria. The top stories. Facebook user jailed in Kogi State for 2 months over fake news. Colleges of Education lecturers begin 1-month strike. On the foreign scene, gunmen kidnapped 38 passengers on minibuses in Haiti. Details and more coming shortly. Do stay tuned. Good morning again and thank you for joining us. I am Catherine Odok with the news. But don't forget, we're streaming this news live via our website, GRACE955FM.com. And now the news in full. A magistrate court sitting in Lokoja on Tuesday sentenced a middle-aged man, Habibu Achille Rabiu, to 2 months in prison with 5,000 naira fine for posting unverified information on his Facebook timeline. Rabiu in his Facebook timeline had alleged that the alarming rate of death in Kogi State caused by fever during the wave of COVID-19 pandemic in the country. The trial judge, Chief Magistrate A.A. Agatha, said Rabiu had contravened Section 393 of Kogi State Penal Code for posting false information on his Facebook timeline. The Department of State Security, DSS, had earlier arrested Rabiu and charged him to court. The prosecuting counsel, Mr. M.A. Abaji, argued that the defendant acted contrary to Section 393 of Kogi State Penal Code by intimidating people, creating fear, and inciting people against the state government. Abaji stated that the defendant has also raised false alarm in the state against the backdrop of normal rates of death amidst COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Trial Magistrate Judge Chief Magistrate A.A. Agatha, in her judgment, sentenced Rabiu to 2 months with option of fine in addition to payment of 5,000 naira. The defendant was said to have paid 5,000 naira before he was moved to prison custody. Meanwhile, 7 accused persons on Tuesday appeared before a magistrate court in Lokoja for allegedly assaulting a staff of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC. AEDC charged the accused persons with criminal conspiracy, trespass, mischief, and causing grievous hurt. The prosecuting counsel, Mr. G.O. Olowu, told the court that the defendants stormed the Lokoja area office of the AEDC on June 9th and attacked Mr. Olanrewaju John Femi with allegations that he stole their electrical cable. He added that the AEDC staff sustained grievous head injury during the attack. Olowu said that the defendants destroyed John Femi's cell phones, one office desktop computer, 2 plastic chairs, and some customers' bills. The offense, he said, is punishable under the provisions of Section 97, 348, 327, and 245 of the Penal Code. The accused persons, Abiodun Aria, Joseph Damilola Ibitoye, Adeoye Femi, Abdulrazak Sadiq, Ibrahim Toba, Mary David, and Hassan Lawal, pleaded not guilty. The Chief Magistrate A.M. Mokpa admitted the 7 accused to bail in the sum of 100,000 each, with 1 surety each in like sum, and adjourned the case until July 12th for further mention. Still on the news, the Kogi State government has warned against extortion of applicants in the ongoing teachers' recruitment in the state. The state government, the state chairman, Teaching Service Commission, STETCOM, Cecilia Cook, gave the warning on Tuesday. Cook said it has come to the notice of the Commission that some unscrupulous elements have been taking advantage of innocent applicants to extort money in the name of helping them to seek employment. She said the Commission is not requesting for money for the application of suitable qualified candidates to fill vacancies in schools. Cook noted that anyone that gave money to either staff of the Commission or fraudsters are only doing so on their own. She reiterated the employment exercise will be transparent and fair as it is geared towards repositioning secondary education in the state. Moving on, medical expert says there is need for the Kogi state government to take responsibility towards looking at why 2 local government areas have recorded high Lassa fever cases in the state. Lassa fever is an acute viral hemorrhagic illness that is endemic in some countries of West Africa, in which Nigeria is not exempted. In this special report, our correspondent Olatunde Odimayo takes a look at the need for government to take proactive steps, as the Nigerian Medical Association are also advocating for continuous sensitizations on good personal hygiene at the marketplaces, schools, homes to curb the spread of the deadly virus. And now the reports.
The world has not overcome the fear of the COVID-19 pandemic, which took a toll on human lives, and now there is another cause for concern: the Lassa fever and monkeypox. In February, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control (NCDC) confirmed 358 Lassa fever recorded across 19 states in 2022. Nausea, chest and muscle pain, sore throat, vomiting, headache, diarrhea, fever are some of the symptoms of Lassa fever. Between January to April 2022, Kogi State recorded 41 cases of Lassa fever. Ida, Ibaji, Lokoja, Ajeokuta, Ofu, Okene, Okei, Kaba, and Adabi local government reported at least 1 case during the period under review. Within this period, 7 deaths were recorded. The big question here is Kogi State totally free from this deadly pandemic? What measure has been put in place to avert new cases? Medical experts have raised concern on notable flashpoints in Kogi State, where Lassa fever has continued to threaten the existence of the people. For the Nigerian Medical Association chairman, Dr. Omakoju Simeon Oyegu, the government has a lot to do in some local government area of Kogi State that have recorded high cases of Lassa fever.
But we are concerned that there have been some deaths recorded amongst the populace, and we are concerned because 1 death to us is a very key issue as far as Lassa is concerned. Trying to look at the distribution around the state, we see that in the central there has been no serious issue with Lassa, maybe 1 or 2 cases. In the west is also the same. In the east there isn't so much from Alamaboro, from Tekena and the others. Ida and Ibaji have been the hub of Lassa fever in the state, and we are concerned. And we think that the state government should take responsibility to look at why these 2 local governments, particularly Ibaji, providing leadership for Lassa fever in the state.
What should the public know about this deadly disease, Lassa fever?
In this case of Lassa fever, there must be a particular species of the rat, and then there must be a human being who also has contact with the rat.
For the national president, Kogi State Medical Student Association, Ogoche Wisdom, there is need to drive sensitization on Lassa fever to schools across the 21 local governments of the state.
From there, their parents can also get to hear the information on how to prevent Lassa fever, because it's what we can prevent, it's preventable.
Why Kogi State has so far not recorded any case of Lassa fever in the last 2 months? All hands must be on deck to ensure that proper hygiene is maintained to curb the spread of the virus. From Lokoja.
So we are thinking that the problem at Ida and Ibaji, we must begin to look at the environmental sanitation aspect around the places of the market at Ega or even in Ibaji. Are we doing anything that is helping these rats to multiply?
Olatunde Odimayo reporting.
Away from that, the Nigerian Senate has given a positive nod on the bill seeking the upgrade of the Federal College of Education, Okene, to Federal University of Education following a debate led by Senator Yakubu Oseni, representing Kogi Central Senatorial District. Senator Oseni, in a led debate on the bill, which has passed second reading today during Senate plenary, vehemently submitted that for any country to achieve meaningful political and socio-economic development, there is an urgent need to establish specialized universities where teachers, trainers would be trained. While citing the 1981 National Policy on Education, the lawmaker who urged and argued that education is a sure means of developing individuals' potential stressed that it is equally the greatest investment that the nation can make for a quick development of its economic, political, sociological, and human resources. When established, the proposed Federal University of Education, Okene, would, according to Senator Oseni, perform several other functions, among which were highlighted as it would provide a platform for advancement of learning for all, develop and offer academic and professional programs that center on technology, applied science, management, and allied professional skills, pleading with his colleagues to give the bill the needed expeditious attention. Senator Oseni revealed that in line with Order 76 of the Senate Standing Order 2022 as amended, the bill has no financial implication as structures and manpower needed are already in existence in the Federal College of Education, Okene. Moving on, Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila has questioned the primaries of political parties held across the country. He was concerned that about 178 serving members of the House failed to secure the ticket of their various parties to return to the Green Chamber of the National Assembly. Gbajabiamila made the remark on Tuesday in his opening remarks to the lawmaker at the resumption of plenary after over 1 month of recess. According to him, many members lost because of the process of primaries using the delegate system, which is what the House fought for by making direct primaries compulsory in the Electoral Act, which the President has yet to sign. The clause of the Electoral Act had to be expunged, allowing political parties to decide their mode of primaries to select their candidates for various elections. Meanwhile, the National Executive Council of the College of Education Academic Staff Union has begun a 1-month strike effective Tuesday, 14th of June. The strike action was disclosed to newsmen in a communique signed by COESU President Dr. Smart Olugbeko and General Secretary Dr. Ahmed Bazalawan. The union, like other tertiary institution-based unions, had requested that the federal government attend to lingering demands. And now to Ekiti governorship election. The National Peace Committee, NPC, has appealed to residents of Ekiti to choose peace over violence in the coming governorship election in the state. Chairman of the committee and former head of state, General Abdul Salami Abubakar, made the appeal in a statement barely a week to the election day. He urged the people to come out without fear, but with hope to exercise their franchise and vote to deepen the democratic process in the state. General Abdul Salami also advised the youth not to make themselves pawns in the hands of the political class, but should be aware that the security, stability, and future of Nigeria remain their common patrimony. He urged everyone taking part in the election to follow due process, conduct themselves with civility and patriotism, and ensure they do not take laws into their hands, no matter the grievances they may hold against individuals and other stakeholders in the poll. Onto legal matters, Justice Emeka Onwite of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has sentenced two drug traffickers, Chibunna Umeibe and Emeka Ezebunwa, who were linked to the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, DCP Abba Kyari, to 6 years imprisonment. Delivering judgment in the case involving them on Tuesday, Justice Onwite convicted Umeibe and Ezenwane on counts 5, 6, and 7 of the drug trafficking charge filed against them by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. At the resumed proceedings, the NDLEA, through the director of its legal department, Sunday Joseph, informed the court that it has entered into a plea bargain agreement with the two defendants. Mr. Joseph, therefore, persuaded the court to adopt the terms of the plea bargain deal as its judgment against the defendant. Consequently, Justice Onwite convicted and sentenced the two defendants to 2 years jail term on each of the 3 counts of the charges against them. Away from legal matters, a frontline civic group, the Socio-Economic Research and Development Center, SADC, has called on the National Directorate of Employment, NDE, to address the economic injustice against the Federal Capital Territory original inhabitants in the distribution and implementation of its 2022 Capital and Zonal Intervention Project, also known as Constituency Project. The Executive Director of SADC, Tijani Abdul Karim, stressed that it views the recent advertisement invitation to tender by the NDE, dated Monday, June 13, 2022, in the national dailies for the implementation of NDE's 2022 Capital Project and Zonal Intervention Constituency Project as a gross deprivation and serious economic injustice against the original inhabitants of the FCT who have suffered decades of marginalization, discrimination, and widespread neglect. The group explained that out of the 310 empowerment projects on vocational and technical skills and those focusing on the provision of basic infrastructure for rural communities across the constituencies, as listed out by the Directorate for Implementation in 2022, no project was earmarked for implementation across the rural communities of the FCT, where indigenous group whose lands were parceled out by Decree 6 of 1976 to make room for Nigeria's capital lives. SADC noted that having been rendered stateless and vulnerable amidst the harsh impact of COVID-19 economic recession, government's projects, programs, and policy should consider the plight of these marginalized people to pull them out of untold hardship and poverty. Abdul Karim explained that the interests of local communities and marginalized groups need to be at the core of project implementation and budgeting for recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic in the effort to build resilient, strong, and better communities in the face of current economic recession faced by the country. You're listening to Grace 95.5 FM News. Still to come, foreign and sport news. Details right after the break. Please do want to stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Put Nigeria first in everything you do. Grace 95.5 FM News.
Welcome back from that break. Glad to know you're still there with us. It's still Grace 95.5 FM News at 8, and now to foreign and sport news. And on the foreign scene, Russia says it will give Ukrainian fighters holed up in a chemical plant in the encircled city of Severodonetsk a chance to surrender. The Russian army also said civilians will be transported to the separatist region of Luhansk. In the UK, the Foreign Secretary says she will do whatever necessary to free two Britons sentenced to death after fighting in Ukraine. Meanwhile, Aiden Aslin, Sean Pena, and Moroccan Saudin Brahim deny charges of being mercenaries. They were sentenced this month by the self-proclaimed Donetsk People Republic in eastern Ukraine. Also, 29 British-based journalists, including Clive Marie and Ola Gorin, have been banned from entering Russia. In the world of sport, former Manchester City captain Vincent Kompany has been appointed as the new manager of Burnley, the Championship club announced on Tuesday. The Belgian 36, who left his job as Anderlecht head coach last month, said he was excited by the challenge ahead. Burnley Football Club is a truly historic English side, and it is an honour to be appointed first-team manager, said Kompany, who takes over from caretaker Mike Jackson. Jackson replaced Sean Dyche in April, but could not save the club from relegation to the second-tier championship. And now to end Grace 95.5 FM news, a quick look at our top stories. We told you that a magistrate sitting in Lokoja on Tuesday sentenced middle-aged man Habibu Achille Rabiu to 2 months in prison with 5,000 naira fine for posting unverified information on his Facebook timeline. We also brought to your notice that the National Executive Council of the College of Education Academic Staff Union has begun a 1-month strike effective Tuesday, 14th of June. On a foreign scene, Russia says it will give Ukrainian fighters holed up in a chemical plant in the encircled city of Severodonetsk a chance to surrender. And that's the size of our news at 8. Before we go, always remember every day is a better day if you think positively about your country. And on behalf of our duty editor, Olatunde Odimayo, many thanks for listening. I am Catherine Odok. To have a profitable morning. Bye for now.